Would you rather travel the world for a year, all expenses paid, or have $40,000 to spend on whatever you want?
I'm I'm gonna go with travel the world.
Oh, we're traveling together then, because I
Yeah.
am also going all
Yeah.
over that world.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Show me the world.
Show me the world.
Show me the world. Welcome to Second Saturday, the podcast where Sundays feel like a Saturday.
This is episode 35, and I'm Ainsley.
And this is Jen.
And today we're talking about the relationship that Mom and I have, and when that transitioned from parent-child relationship to advisor-friend relationship.
Yes, because I feel
Yeah.
that that is just the natural progression when your children get older.
Yes.
And I've had a lot of people ask me about that, like in the last little while, especially because Ainsley and I are so close. And
Mhm.
so I have some friends that also are having some adult children. And so they've actually asked me a little bit about that. So I think this is a good time and a good place to bring that up,
Yeah.
right? But first, would you rather? And I mean, I don't know. I'm not taking the 40 grand, man. I
Yeah,
am
like if you travel around the world, all expenses paid, it's gonna be more than 40 grand.
way more than $40,000.
Yeah.
Like I can think of $40,000 in just one trip.
Yeah.
So
It's
for an
just
entire
it's
year, I could like
yeah.
times that by 100.
Like, you can go see so many places. Like, you could go spend 2 weeks here, 2 weeks
Yep.
there, and just
Yep.
it'd be so fun.
Oh, wouldn't it though? Like the places that you would go.
You could go on
For
your river cruise thing.
to river cruise. Do you know where else I'm going?
Where?
Dubai.
Oh, Dubai.
We
Oh
would
my
totally
god,
be
we're
we'd be
going to
spending some time.
Dubai.
We'd be spending some time in Dubai.
Yes.
I could
Very
easily talk about 15 places that I would go right off
yeah.
the top of my head. It's just a no-brainer. I would totally do that trip. And listen, some of them would probably be really expensive. How are you making out with the lights, Ainsley?
I'm very shiny. I don't I don't I don't
Oh
I
my
was
gosh. I'm
just
like trying to talk click, 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 click. Um,
I was just trying to see what was better.
Listen, and some of my trips would not be super expensive. Like there are some trips that I would probably have that are a little more cost effective, but there's
Mhm.
definitely throughout that year of travel are
Oh
going to be
yeah.
some pretty big ticket places
Yeah.
that I want to go. Um,
Oh yeah.
so yeah, what about you, Ainsley? Do you feel the
Um,
same way?
I feel the exact same way. You just be able to go so many places. I'd probably do like
Yeah.
2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, or like 10 days, 10 days, 10 days, like in a bunch of different places.
Yes.
So you actually have time to like do some fun things, but also just relax and hang out a little bit. Like, oh, it would just be so
Yeah,
much fun. Could
it
eat
sounds
so
like a
much
great
good
idea.
food.
Oh, do you know how fat I would be after a year of travel?
You'd have
Because
to get that
listen,
40 grand to pay for a personal trainer.
gosh. Because when I'm on vacation, calories don't count.
Nope.
So if I do that for an entire year, hoofda, I better
Ooh,
start with one wardrobe and end. I better ship something somewhere else and end with a completely different wardrobe because
yes.
this cat will not be fitting into the original vacay clothes.
Yeah, it wouldn't be good
Oh,
for the body. It'd
oh,
be good
but
for the
man,
mind though.
it wouldn't be good on the liver either. But yeah, it would be
Yeah.
so good in the mind. Oh, anyway, to
Oh, I
dream the
really want to go on
dream.
vacation.
I know, to dream the dream.
Yeah.
To dream the dream. So, to our viewers, which would you rather do?
Yes.
Would you rather travel the world for an entire year, all expenses paid, or would you rather receive $40,000 to spend on whatever you want?
Yes.
Put it in the comments. Let us know if you want to spend the $40,000.
What
Let
would
us
you
know
spend?
what you would spend it on.
Dun dun
Right?
dun.
Let us know. Let us find out
Yes.
and let us know what you would do. Your travel, 40 grand in your pocket to do whatever with. So very curious to
Yeah.
see what your answers would be on that one.
Yeah.
Weather report. We are skipping over the weather report because it's really not changing. It's just getting slightly better.
Yes.
No sense in talking about it 2 weeks in a row when it's just kind of still slightly in
Not
limbo.
too much is happening. It's
Not too
still
much will
sunny.
happen.
Still
Still same old,
rainy.
same old. So we're gonna skip that. And we're gonna go right into our discussion about the Ainsley and I. shifting from that like parent-child kind of relationship to more of a like friend
Friendship.
and yeah, a friendship kind of role because it
Yeah.
does change, right? Like, um, you're an adult now, so
I'm an
you should be
adult.
able to do things and do adulty things, and I shouldn't have to parent you on being an adult, right? I feel like
Well,
I should have instilled those all in the years previous, and now you can just take it and go,
yes.
take
I
it and
mean,
go.
sometimes I feel like I've had to parent you, so.
Maybe the role switches.
Maybe
I
the
bet you we
roles
should ask you and your
reverse.
brother that, and you were like, "Oh, no, it switches.
Oh,
It
yeah.
totally switches." Because actually I was
Anyways.
talking to your brother and one of his friends the other day. His friend stopped by to pick up some snowmobile paraphernalia he had at our house, and we were talking about that, and he's like, "Yeah," he was like, Your son and I had this chat. We feel like we're the ones that are being the parents now." And it's like, "Oh, listen, we got a little more leeway. You guys are up and going, and we're
uh,
finding our fun again. We are definitely finding our
hey,
fun." And I think
why
that was
not?
after the golf simulator
Yeah,
tournament.
I was talking to my friends and they're talking about how their moms are in their like spa era and all this stuff. And I was like,
Oh.
my mom's re-entering her bar era. I was like, I was like, this woman's coming full circle right now.
I'm coming to the bar, and listen, I'm swinging back around to beer,
Yeah.
too,
Oh,
which is like, what?
whoa.
I know.
That's weird.
That was in my early 20s, I'll say. I won't say that was in my late teens, we'll say it was in my early 20s
Early 20s.
era. And we're coming back around full circle again.
Oh my
So
goodness.
yeah. So what do we mean when we mean like we're doing that transition? It's just basically, I feel like when you're parenting, and this is just our experience, it can be totally different for other people out there. But we just want to throw it out there and see if people, maybe you relate to this, or
Yeah.
maybe you're coming into this and maybe you like a little bit of, discussion on how this works. So yeah, I feel like I've gone from like a parent to more of an advisor role, and there was a slow shift. I mean, definitely,
I mean,
like
we've
when your
always
kid
been like close.
we've always been close, but when your kids are young, like you have to step in and you're parenting and you're instilling in all those morals and values and rights and wrongs and things like that. But there
Mhm.
does come a time where your kids have to go off and they have to start like using those tools that you've given them, and
Yeah.
you as a parent need to start to step back and see if how they fare in life with using those tools, good, bad, or the ugly, with
Mhm.
that. So that's what we're talking about with that transition, is going from like, where you're doing that more hardcore, straight up parenting, to letting them kind of use the tools that you have given them in life, and seeing how that fares. Now, when I say that, it's just not like you just throw them out in the world and see how that goes. This is at like a kind of a mid kind of stage period. So there is you're kind of weaving in and out of that parent advisor for a while until that kind of levels out.
I feel like it
And
kind of that kind of happens like over your time in high school. Like
yes,
that 4-year period is kind of like the main transition period. Like I'm
yes.
sure for us may have been a year or two before that where like
No, I would
we
say your high school
but
years. I think that's
that's
an
like
adequate
when
assessment.
you're in grade 9 like you start to realize like oh like maybe like oh yeah there's like this
Yeah.
whole new world and stuff and then that's when you kind of want to be out on your own more, which is good because then at least if you go out to do something you can fall back to the home like no matter
Yes.
what you're doing in your life
That
essentially
safety net is there.
you can if you fall you'll be at home type thing. um
Absolutely.
so I think that's when like the bigot like that's when the transition happens is when you kind
Yes.
of start to discover who you are a little bit as an individual and then moving because like in high school you like all the responsibilities mainly on you like they your teachers aren't down your neck for something necessarily.
Mhm.
um yeah, and then by the time you graduate you're a little bit more prepped to like
Yeah.
fully like not fully jump but you probably go for in high school you're probably like 75% and then when you go to like college or move out or something you go to like 85 90.
Yes.
And then because
Um,
if something happens there like you still can come back but you kind of want to figure it out so
Absolutely. So I feel like it's there is some transition years, but I feel that when it finally that switch takes over, you're
sorry
having a
I'm
real
so
issue with the lighting.
shiny I don't know
Um,
what's happening.
oh my God, I'm blinded by the light. But I find that when that transition is really kind of accomplished, I would say probably for us, it was probably in that last year of high school.
Yeah.
So yeah, so grade 12. So you're like 17, 18. And that's where I feel like your dad and I really pulled back. And I feel like the real initiator was of that was when you were looking to go to post-secondary education. We kind of like really pushed you to
Yeah.
take the reins of that and start to figure out how you were going to navigate that, whether it was right or wrong and things like
Yeah.
that. So I definitely agree. As a parent, I feel like when you're transitioning from that role, and you're letting them out into the world, it's not easy. Holy Dinah, it is so hard to let go of that and watch your child. But my husband and I were always of the mind of like when our kids really started to make their own choices and things like that. If you're right, we'll stand behind you.
Mhm.
If you're wrong, we'll stand beside you and we'll work
Yeah.
through it together. So we were never just leaving you on your own.
No, and
Um,
it never felt like that. Like
yeah.
for my side, I couldn't really tell you when it felt like, oh, I'm my like own being
No,
now.
there
Like
was
it was
no
just
like
so
definitive moment.
gradual
It is.
that all of a sudden just more things were on me, but not in a way where I was like, oh my God, like why am I
Yeah.
making all these choices now?
So when
So
we became more of friends, like how do you feel like that? How was that friendship with you? Like with me as a mom? Like I'm assuming you're not divulging everything that's going on. Like because we're best friends now. And
yeah.
listen, we talk about like 98% of our lives
Hmm.
we are sharing with each other. And that
Yeah.
wasn't the very beginning of our relationship.
No, and
There
there's
were
still
some
things
boundaries
that
that we
that
had.
there's still things that like I don't share. Like it's not because I don't want to tell you, but it's just because I have a hard time even saying like certain things just out loud outside of my head to the air. So
Okay.
it's nothing like a personal thing, but no, I think
Are those things that you would share with other friends?
sometimes, and
Okay.
I think that that's just because like you still are my parent,
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
get that.
not it's like it's nothing bad, I'll tell you that, but um
Okay.
I don't know, just small personal things. Sometimes you
Yeah.
just you keep to yourself, but that's the same. Like you don't tell me everything, but you definitely tell
No.
me a lot more now than you
Yes.
used to. Like I know quite a bit
Right?
about your life and
Yeah.
situations and stuff. So
Listen, I'm getting to the point now where I'm opening up more about my 20s, like when I was in college and
mhm.
university, because I was definitely way more of a wild child than Ainsley was.
Yes, yes, she
Which
was.
I'm not sad about. But there are still some things that are just not on the table
Yeah,
when it comes to me discussing things with Ainsley's
and it
in
probably never
particular.
will be because like
No,
you are like even though we're best friends, you're still my mom. So
yeah, that's just it. Like
you
we
know
are still like mother daughter,
there is
even
still
though we
those
actually met as
certain
friends.
boundaries and
Yeah,
rules and stuff, but otherwise I think I quite like it's I mean my best friend, so
I
like
know.
it's got to be a
Like
good
if anything
relationship.
fun or
It's
like
just it's
crazy or
so
drama
weird
happens.
how it like happened. I mean, when I was growing up, I was always one to want to hang out like with the adults and not the kids. That was always a big thing that she'd push
Hmm.
me to go, which I mean I do strongly believe is part of the lodge. Like
That is a product of the
I
lodge
was
for sure.
never around kids very often, so
Yeah.
I had a much easier time with adults. So I think because of that, I was just always kind of integrated in the stuff you were doing with your friends. So then when I
Yes.
got to the stage of being able to like do those things, it was just already natural for me. I
Yes.
guess it wasn't like weird
Yeah.
where it's like, "Oh, I'm going to go drink with my mom." Like that wasn't
And listen,
weird.
you
I
were
mean,
like 18.
I also grew up around like everyone drinking and stuff. Like
Well,
nothing
like
crazy, but
social, like having a
yeah,
social time,
like a
and
get
if that
together
included
and
beveraging,
stuff.
it did. If it
Yeah.
didn't, but there was a point when you were like close to 18 or 18ish that I would involve you in some of my
Yeah.
social stuff with some of my adult friends, and
Mm.
it wasn't uncomfortable because like
No,
you
like
were enough of an adult.
yeah, and like even like I'm 15, 20 years younger than all
Yeah,
your friends, but I'm still like one of
one of the
the
girls,
girls basically. And
100%,
it's not weird at all, which is like weird to think about.
right?
But yeah, like it just kind of became a normal thing that I would hang like I always tell people I'd much rather go out and party with my mom than most of my friends. It's just so
Or
much
just
more
hang out and
fun.
do anything.
Yeah.
God, you're painting me like I'm this raging
No.
alcoholic. Please settle
But like it doesn't
down.
have to be like partying,
No, it
partying, but
doesn't.
like
No,
just going out and having a
absolutely.
good time doing something like
Yes. And
I
the
don't
nice part,
and
like,
it
and we
made me
talk.
maybe it's also too because like because I was at the lodge, like we
Yeah,
only had each other. So we always did everything together anyways. And
true.
then even when I especially in high school, because I went to high school in a different town, like all my friends were from that town. So if I came home, like it was still just us,
Yes,
you
that is
know?
true. I do think our transition going from like parent to child to more of a friendship, I feel like it did start at a younger age because of the lodge and
Yeah.
just because the example that you just said, like we had to spend so much time together.
Hmm.
Because when I think back into my teenage years and my mom and myself relationship, I definitely wasn't doing the things that I'm doing with you at the age that I was.
Hmm.
My mom and I built that a little bit later on, and I think that's probably part of it is because,
Yeah.
like our family we were so tight knit and
Like
melded because
we
of the
did
lodge.
we did everything together. So at some point you're not going to want to be parent 24/7.
Yeah.
Like you're going to want to be you at some point within that those like 4 months of being up there. Like you're not going to be
Yeah.
like want to be on constant okay, I'm the high like I'm above you type thing, you know? So we did
Yes.
all and like we played like everything we did was always fun and stuff. So,
Oh gosh, yeah. No, it was
yeah.
good. So I've highlighted some points. I kind of thought about some of the things that like I did as a parent to try and help facilitate this transition into friendship, and I wrote them down. So I just kind of want to go over them so that what if anybody is thinking like or want some suggestions or want to know kind of how things went with us, and maybe they can use
Mhm.
that in their own personal situation. Kind of here are some things. So the first thing, and we've talked about this, we just talked about this, was one-on-one time with each other and that we involved ourselves in the other person's interests.
Yeah.
And I think that was somewhat forced upon us because of the lodge.
Mhm.
And listen, like with both my kids, there were interests that they had that I couldn't give two craps about. Um, Ironically, we owned a fishing lodge. I couldn't care if I fish another day
Yes.
in my life. But my son would come to me and be like, Mom, would you like to go fishing with me?
Especially when he was younger and he wasn't allowed to go by himself.
Yeah. Well, but even when he's an adult, like too, like he's
Yeah.
asked me before, like, even last year, Mom, do you want to go ice fishing with me?
Mhm.
And my response will always be, absolutely. I would love to go.
Yeah.
I couldn't care if I ever go ice fishing ever again, but if that's what my kids' interest is in and they want to share that experience with me, I'm still going to do it. I'm going to have a
Mhm.
good time because I make
Yeah.
myself like I
Oh,
can have
shoot.
fun anywhere.
Yes.
Is it like one of my top things that I'm dying to do? No. But if my kids are inviting me out to something that interests them, I never said no,
Mhm.
and I always made sure that I had fun and we had fun together. So that was kind of one of the things, and that was somewhat forced upon us at the lodge. But
Yep.
even when we were done the lodge,
But
there
even
were
yeah, even afterwards,
things.
and it's something that
Yeah,
like I was like aware, like I it was something like it was noticed, I guess. Like I was always like I mean I don't really know what I did, but like I could tell when you were doing things for us type thing.
yeah.
Like
Um,
even when we
and I
went
wasn't
like
resentful. Like I still wanted to
no
do
no
them. It just wasn't like my super passion.
yeah.
But I'm always going to join in.
Like, even when we went to the Gimli Film Festival, like, you don't know anything about that, but I can remember being there and just, like, in my own, like, perspective, like, it was just, like, I appreciated how much you were trying to understand everything that I was
Okay,
enjoying and watching, you
nice.
know?
Aw.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So yeah, so that was one of the main things is this the one-on-one time with my kids and my involvement in the things that they are interested in.
Mhm.
And it's not to say that it wasn't reciprocated. Ainsley did the same thing. There were some, interests that I had that I'm sure weren't her
Yep.
favorite at the time, but she also made the effort too. It goes both ways.
Yes.
Um, the other part, another piece of that puzzle was like a non-judgmental listening when my kids were talking to me. And we're talking about like when they're like 17, 18, and 19 here.
Mhm.
So for example, Ainsley would come home from with a story, and as a mom, I was like in absolute like aghast shock. Like I'm like, "Oh my god, that did not just happen, blah blah blah." But listen, when she's telling me the story, as she's telling the story, when she's like laughing at a funny spot, I'm laughing at a funny
Mhm.
spot. And when she's talking about a spot that's like, "Oh," then I'm also going, "Oh." Even though inside my parenting mom is like screaming, "Oh my god, I can't believe the situation happened." Like, what are you thinking? Blah 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 blah. But I'm like, "Oh yeah," and oh, well, that's pretty cool. Thanks so much, for letting me know that was a wild and crazy
Well,
thing.
now I know how you're gonna react when I tell you about my night out the other day.
Oh dear. Oh, that's gonna have to be an off-camera discussion. So yeah, so anyways, and that's not an easy thing to do as a parent. Because listen, for those like 15, 18 years leading up to that, that's all you do as parent. So
Mhm.
when you have to like relinquish that, it's not easy. But I was very, very conscious when Ainsley was telling me different stories or experiences that whatever her reaction was to that instance in the story was I was mirroring that. Because once they get to that age, if you're starting to parent them, they don't want that. Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't want that, right? If I was gonna,
Probably
you
not.
know, probably not. You would probably tell me less, right? So I think that really helped us in our friendship. And that was something on my end that I really had to be conscious of and make sure that I was, being non-judgmental
Mhm.
when things happen. And let me tell you, when you were done, I'd be sitting there with my husband, be like, "Oh my God, I have got to tell you the story that AC just told me. You
Oh
will not
goodness.
believe this."
Oh
Holy
goodness,
done.
goodness.
And the same with my son too.
Yeah.
Like my son has had a few, and we're just like, wow. Um, but at the time we listened, we didn't ask too many questions, like, but we
Mhm.
just listened and we just reacted and we weren't judgmental in what they were telling us. And that kind of ties in with the next kind of aspect, which was like, we didn't push for the details. Like, I wasn't there like, oh my gosh, so what all did you do when you went to that like let's say if you went to like a music festival, oh my gosh,
Mhm.
so what did you do? What did you do on Sunday? What did you do on Saturday? What did you do? Like, and were you safe? Did you have anybody? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I didn't ask for all the details. I'm like, hey, did you have a good time this weekend? And then I left it up to you as to whether you wanted to share or not. And I
Mhm.
think that's what helped us start our friendship because honestly, when this transitions, it's when your kid's ready to be a friend with you. Like,
Yeah.
because, I can want to be Ainsley's friend till the cows come home, but it's not until she's ready
Yeah.
to have
And
that
like these
relationship
things
that's
help
really going to
that
happen.
because like I
Yeah,
have I have friends where their parents are like very pushy like that and want and then they're just always mad at their parent and feel like they can't go do anything because their parents may be down their throat figuring out what they did. You
right.
know?
Because they're still parenting.
Yeah.
They're not friendshipping, if that it's not a
Friendshipping.
word, but they're not friendshipping, right?
Yeah.
So, you can't, first of all, you can't force this. You have to wait until your kids are ready to have that, but you have to start initiating it and be prepared. So these are just kind of the things.
Yeah.
Um, and these all tie together. Like I just said this too, like, resist the urge to give like a parental advice except when asked. So I always refer to myself now as an advisor and not a parent. So I'm not going to say anything until my kids are like, hey, mom, what is your opinion on this?
Mhm.
What do you think I should do in this instance? Blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to beak into that ahead of time. I'm going to wait for them to ask me for my advice. And then I'm going to give them what my advice would be in the most non parenting
Yeah.
way. And listen, if they want my help with something, I'll be like, hey, here's my advice. Do you want my help on this or whatever you need? Um, but I'm definitely gonna just like resist that urge to give parental advice. And then it just becomes that. Like it just
Mhm.
becomes your parental um to give that parental part of it. Like just be an advisor. And I
Yeah.
think I wrote that in your grade 12 paper. Ainsley had an for
I had
English.
to do an autobio.
Yeah.
Yeah. A
And
50-page
so
autobiography.
you had to do so many pages and you could ask so many people to do pages. So I
Yes.
feel like you asked me to do one and that was basically my whole piece then I was like I was then an advisor and I think I like referred to it as like, in your younger years I was the coach
Mhm.
on right on the field and I'm telling you what to do and I'm showing you the skills and I'm doing all of
Yeah.
this. And then at some point you move from being the coach to be sitting in the bleachers and you got some pom-poms and you're cheering your kid on and every once in a while they're going to look to you for a little bit of like distance support and you're gonna be like you can do it, you got this, like you go.
Yep.
So that's what I mean like for being an advisor, like it's that shift there. And then I guess
Yep.
lastly, just accept your kid for who they are, right?
Yeah.
I have two kids who are completely different and I love that. I would never ask for anything more than that. But you got to accept them for who they are. Because listen, you're the one that's instilled, put your morals and values and parented them all
Mhm.
this way. And they might not make the choices you want, but you just have to accept them for who they are. And that just makes life so much easier. And it makes that friendship
Yes.
so much easier,
It does. It really
right? Because
does.
you're basically, if you think about it, You're expecting your child from the time they are little till they get to begin to accept you as you are,
Mhm.
right? Like there's never
Exactly.
like that's almost like a must. Like as a kid, you have to accept your parents for who
You
they
have no
are.
choice.
You have no choice. So you have to do the same for your kids too.
Yeah, that's
But
fair.
I don't know. What do you think about those things that I just talked about, Eanes?
No, I agree with them. I think I think they're all very important to like to transition
Right?
and
Is
like
there anything
I
like
think
you want to
they're
add?
well, I think those are things that like you have to like keep in mind even before you start transitioning,
Yeah.
right? Like you have to be like kind of I think that would help because I feel like you kind of had those points in your head like before that friendship was ever a thing and that's how you parented.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like and so then it made it easier. I don't know. It makes it hard when you move away though. You know how much like it's one thing to like yes, you miss your family, like that part sucks, but like I have a really hard time accepting the fact that like I don't get to do everything with you.
I
That
know.
part's really sad
It does. It really
because
sucks.
you are like my best friend.
No, it's my bestie. It's my bestie. And she's another
Yeah.
province away. Boo. I
But
mean, social media has done wonders
oh
for
yeah.
that.
Yes.
But still, we're not there.
Yeah.
There's a difference when you're like on a screen versus you actually like are doing things together and you're just
Yeah.
together. You can
But
just
it's
feel
just so intriguing. Sorry, I hate how bright I am.
you're good. You're fine.
There we go. It's so like I find it very interesting to like see friends of mine because like I everyone's always like wow like you talk about like all this like your mom sounds like so much fun blah 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 and I it's because I don't think they have those friendships with their parents
Yeah, they might not.
which
They
is
might
like
not be there
not
yet.
that that's wrong but like it is quite surprising to see how many people don't have that I guess.
And listen, I don't think that I had the relationship with you at your age that I
Mhm.
had with my mom. And I'm super tight with my mom. I love my mom to
Yeah,
death. My mom is the best person in the entire universe in my
she
eyes.
really is.
Um but we weren't there yet
Yeah,
at this age. Like I feel like I was maybe married
yeah.
before that
And
really
like it's
we
is
really
all
that really clicked.
everything. It's surprising how many things funnel back to the lodge. You wouldn't
Yeah.
think that so many different little things would be because of that,
Yeah.
but we literally just had each other. That's all
So
we
get
had.
yourself a lodge, people.
Yeah, go buy a lodge.
If you want to have a great relationship with your kids, get yourself a lodge.
Go buy a lodge. Live up there for 16 years, and you will be best friends.
You'll be best friends. Oh
Oh
my
goodness.
gosh. It's a small investment to have a
Yeah,
best friend,
it's
right?
worth it.
It's totally,
It's worth it.
totally, totally worth it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that's kind of, I don't know if our experience, can help somebody,
Mhm.
if you're kind of like, oh, like, how do I navigate this, next stages of my kids' lives? Um, but anyways, these are the things that like have happened with us.
Yeah.
These are the things as a parent that my husband and I have kind of went with, and we've had success with it. I'm
Mhm.
not saying that everybody will. There's different, everybody is different. Every relationship is different. Um, that transition from like a parent child to a friendship, it's going to come at different stages for everybody.
Yeah.
I'm just so thankful that I have mine with my kids at such a
Yeah.
young age.
That's
Because
neat.
literally, like whatever is happening, I am calling or FaceTiming or texting Ainsley
Mhm.
and whatever the situation is, the good, bad, the ugly. So,
Or I'm
um,
showing up. One of the
right?
two.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yes.
Now that we've had this conversation, man, June cannot come fast enough.
I
I
know.
cannot wait to spend some serious time with you.
Yes. It's needed. It's very much needed.
It's needed. Absolutely. Well, if you made it to the end of this video, please type the word friends in the comments and let's see how
Friends.
many friends we can get
Friends, friends,
posted
friends.
on this lovely podcast. So
Yes.
thank you for listening to Second Saturday yet again.
Make sure you like and subscribe. We're here every week.
We're here every week. And listen,
Yes.
we're really getting on a roll with our subscribers. Like
We are.
they just we've got
Proof.
some momentum, which is really exciting, which means
Yes.
hopefully you guys are really enjoying what we have to offer. So,
Yes.
like I said a couple of weeks ago, like if you have any questions for Ainsley and I about our lives or anything,
Hmm.
um, throw them out there to us. Message us and
Yeah.
let us know because we would love to
We will
answer if you have
answer
any
them.
questions. Um, about this crazy cat and myself. So, are you getting a sunburn from
I
this
don't,
lamp?
you can't see me. I'm all one color. Goodness.
Oh my gosh, this has been so entertaining
Ah,
to watch on the
I
other side.
I
Good
forgot to put the
grief.
big light on to counteract this.
Oh my goodness. You
Listen.
would think somebody that was just in film and television for 4 years of school would have all of that figured out ahead of
Listen.
time, but
Listen.
no. Awesome. All right. Well, everybody, enjoy your Sunday. Have a great rest of the week, and we will see you next Sunday.
Bye.
Bye.